Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga for Aging Strong. We are in the month of April 2025. And in this month of April, we're going to be focusing a little bit more on those elements as we are growing older that tend to decline. That would be lean muscle mass, keeping our muscles nice and strong. Also, our bone density. We're going to be focusing on that. We're also going to be focusing a lot on the brain. So we'll have patterns of movement while we're flowing through things to keep our mind active. Lots of balance, flexibility, and agility of our bodies this month. A lot rolled into one. So I do have a pair of light hand weights if you'd like to grab that for class today. Not necessary to use it, but I would challenge you to try it and see what you think. So let's start in mountain pose. And just to reflect on mountain, we can take our feet about hips distance apart. We can bring them in all the way to touch. With more classical forms of yoga, you'll find this position is a little harder to balance when you have your feet close together. So maybe you want to take them a little wider for a stronger, wider base of support. And then just find a nice long spine. Let your arms just relax down by your side. And we'll just bring the right hand up and then the left hand up. So this is like a bicep curl action. And I want you to notice when you do this action, you can turn your palms to face you. You can turn them to face inward, or you can even turn them away from you so that you're pressing the palms down. So just alternating that action, we're warming up through the elbow joint. Good. Now let's do 3 of these. So we'll go 3, 2, 1, and then lift the right arm up, reach, and take a side stretch over. And then we'll come back down to this position, do 3 of the curls, and 2, hold on 1, reach the right arm up, and do a side stretch. Good, bring that arm down. We got 3 alternating curls. 1, 2, 3, reach up, and side stretch. Good, and bring it down. 3 curls. Developing this patterning for our brain. Also just warming up the body. And then knowing that we could add weights with this, I want you to decide if that would feel okay for your body. So let's bring it down. We'll do 1 more time on each side. Curling for 3, 2, 1. Reach up, side bend, and return. Last time. 3, 2, 1. Reach up, side bend. Good. Now, as this hand comes down, I want you to sit into chair. Check, and we've got this opposition position with our arms. Check to make sure your knees are tracking appropriately, that you're not bowing in or out with your knees. 3 of our curls. 1, 2, 3. We'll stand and reach and side bend. Let's start to move a little quicker. Come down. 3 curls. 3, 2, stand and reach, side bend. Excellent. 1 more on each side. 3, 2, stand and reach, side bend. 1 more time. Come on down. Hold your chair pose. 3, 2, stand and reach, and side bend. Just lower that arm. Okay, if you'd prefer not to pick up weights, we're going to roll through that process 1 more time, or we can add our workload. Now, if you need to leave out maybe the reach up or the side bend, I want you to choose what's going to work best for your body. We'll start with the right elbow bent, the left arm straight down, Sit into chair, check your alignment. 3 curls. 1, 2. Reach up as you stand. Carefully take your side bend. Now, what are you feeling now that we've added this resistance? Come on down. 3 curls. Stand and reach. Side bend. Getting the QL here and the obliques. Come down. Biceps. In our isometric chair pose. Reach. Stretch. And come down. 2 more on each side. 3, 2, 1. Stand, reach. Side bend. Adding the weight sometimes helps you get a better stretch as well as strengthening. 3, 2, 1. Reach. Nice job. Come on down. 3, 2, 1. Reach. This is our last one. And then just lower the weight down. Excellent. Let's take the feet into a wide position. Turning the right foot out. Let's come into warrior 2. And then just bring the weights right in front of you. Bend the elbows a little bit. And we'll lift the right arm out for shoulder raise and the left. If you're not using weights, maybe your arms are a little straighter. Or if your weights are light, they can be straighter. For heavier weight, we bend these elbows about 90 degrees. Good. Now we can certainly do both arms at the same time. It's wonderful. It's a nice option. But I'm doing unilateral because I want you to focus on stabilization of the core. And your core has to work harder when only one limb is away from the midline of the body. 3 more on each arm. Feel the isometric work in your right leg, in the quad and glute. 2 more. Good. Not too high with the weights, under the height of your shoulders. Last one this side. And then we'll straighten the right leg and then re-bend it. So as I'm bending it, I'm looking into the computer screen and I'm bringing my knee a little too far over my toe. So what I'm going to do is expand my width a little bit. So when I bend that knee, I've pretty much got my knee in alignment with my ankle. Now bring the weights down as you straighten the leg, pull up into an upright row and lower. Now when we're coming away from gravity, that's where we want to exhale. And we're coming back toward gravity, we breathe in. So we have a single leg extension in closed position or a closed chain, or known as a leg press. So we're firing that right quad and glute as we're working the shoulders, upper traps, some biceps. 2 more. Good. 1 more. And then hold here. We'll adjust to the other side with the feet. So we'll push up, pivot, turn out, and find your warrior 2 position here. Make sure this knee is nicely tracking over the ankle. We'll hold the position, bend the elbows 90 degrees. Left arm opens into our lateral raise. And then the right arm. We're going at a nice, comfortable pace, not too fast. Maybe a little pause at the top of the movement to fire the shoulder. And then really find your core. Stabilize, draw your shoulder blades back. A nice neutral head position. And then perhaps we can fire the bandhas. So let's talk about the Mula Bandha. That is our pelvic floor lock. So we can tighten the muscles of the pelvic floor. We can also tighten and release. So as the arm's lifting, you might tighten. And then as the arm is lowering, release that muscle complex. Good, 2 more on each arm. Isometric work for that left quad and glute. 1 more each side. Good. Now let's press to straighten the left leg and then sink down in. Now this is my leg that has not had a joint replacement on the knee. There is arthritis there, so I feel this if I take it too deep. So I'm going to stay a little more shallow than I did on the other side to stay in a pain-free range of motion. Okay, let's pull up into the upright row. Exhale and inhale. Now the upright row is an exercise that can be a little tricky. Here's some things that I see that aren't right. So the weights don't come above the shoulders or the elbows. The weights stay under the elbows. The elbows stay under the shoulders. Here's another thing I see that's not right. Lifting up too high. So just under the shoulders with the elbows, under the elbows with the wrists. Exhale 3. And 2. And 1. Hold that warrior 2 position. Breathe. And then let's press up out of the leg, pivot the foot in, begin to walk your feet together one at a time, or you can hop. And let's come to the top of our mat. What I'm going to do is bring my weights down to the floor, and I want you to notice, I don't know if yours can balance, but no, mine aren't going to balance. But we can actually use our hand weights like a block. So we'll have those weights there that we can use like a block when we're down onto the floor. I'm also going to bring my little bit of a kneeling pad because we'll be coming onto the knees. And then let's start in mountain toward the top of your mat, optional chair here. And come to a nice, tall, lengthened position. So we'll lift the right knee a bit and then see if we can balance in single leg stance. And then set that foot down. Lift the left knee, balance in single leg stance. If you need a wall or chair, something to help you balance, be sure to do that. Let's do 1 more on each side. Right knee lifts, single leg stance. Left knee lifts, single leg stance. Set it down. Let's sit down into a chair position. Doesn't have to be too deep. Bring the palms to your heart. We can add a little pressure here at heart center. So we're activating the pectoral muscles, the chest. Now try to shift your body weight over into your left foot and pick up your right knee into single leg stance. And then sit your right foot back down, shift to the right foot, pick up your left knee, single leg stance. This is a different progression because we have that deep knee bend on the standing leg. Or it doesn't necessarily need to be deep, but we're feeling the activation in the standing leg a little bit more than when our leg is straight. Maybe 1 more on each side. It's just maybe a count of 3 or 4. And then we'll stand up. Good. Okay. I'm going to add a step back with the right leg. So let's sink down into your chair. Shift your body weight over to the left foot. Pick up your right leg into single leg stance. And then we're going to reach it way back, find the floor, and come into high crescent lunge. Now let's talk about high crescent lunge. We want to have the back toes tucked under. If that bothers your feet, I know some of you have some arthritis in your toes, you can plant that foot to the floor and come into warrior one. That's going to also help you balance a little bit and stabilize. Now let's take that back leg and bring it forward back into your chair pose. And then we'll shift our body weight into the right foot, pick up the left knee, single leg stance, then reach that foot way back, high crescent lunge, or plant the foot heel to the ground in warrior one. Our warrior one does give us a little bit of a stretch for the calf, which is nice. Okay, let's step back into chair. Shift the body weight into the left foot, pick up the right knee, single leg stance. Reach that leg back behind, high crescent lunge, then come into your cactus arms. Open, expand through the chest. Nice stretch here. Then close the palms back at heart center, step forward into chair pose. Shift the body weight into the right foot, pick up the left knee, single leg stance. Reach the foot way back. High crescent lunge or warrior one. Expand into cactus arms. Stretch. Fire the upper back. And then close the palms in. And then step in. Let's take a little bit of a break. Rise up out of the legs. Maybe shake them out a little bit. Okay, we're going to move along in this sequence to drop the back knee down to the mat. That's why I have my little blanket there. So let's sit into chair, palms at heart center. Pick up the right knee, single leg stance. Reach back, high crescent lunge. And then we're going to drop the body down to the floor. Now you might need to have your chair here accessible to help you come down. This is a lot of work in your standing leg, but we're going to lower down. Now we're in a hands and knees position. We'll extend the left leg out until we have a stretch for our hamstring. Now here's where our blocks are going to come in handy, or our hand weights. So we're just going to hold a nice stretch here for the hamstrings. The chair is a nice option to place the hands on as well. If you're pretty flexible, you might be able to come down to touch the floor. So I'd like for you just to keep your left hand on the block. Take your right arm, reach it back behind you straight, and then we'll bend the right elbow and do a tricep kickback. If this is working for you, you can add the hand weight with that. So we'll take the arm back, bend, and straighten. So the muscle firing here in stabilization would be the posterior deltoid, the back of the shoulder. And then the prime mover is the tricep on that right side. 4, getting a nice stretch for the hamstring. 3, 2, and 1. Good, let's place that weight back down. We'll rebend the right knee. And this is a lesson in learning how to get up off the floor with or without using your hands. So what I want you to try to do, if you need to use the chair, please use it. Otherwise, we're going to tuck the toes underneath on this back foot, place our hands here, and then push down into that front leg and stand up. So that's challenging for me after that hip replacement, but that's going to help those muscles come back. And then we'll step the back foot forward, come into chair. Ooh. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. Hopefully you know what you need to do to modify this entire sequence. Shift your body weight into your right foot. Pick up your left knee, single leg stance. Reach that left foot behind you. And then we're going to lower down to the floor, maybe with or without the chair. Good. Okay, let's take this extended leg forward. So we find our stretch. And then using our blocks or our dumbbells, let's breathe into the stretch. Good. Now we can try this one without the weight first if you'd like. So I'm going to lift my left arm back behind me, keep it up there, and bend and straighten for the tricep kickback. Or let's grab the weight, bring the arm up, bend and straighten. Wow, it's really interesting. I wasn't thinking about my abs too much, but as soon as I picked up that weight and brought it back behind me, I really felt the abs bracing. And we have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Release that weight back down. And then we are going to try to get up from the floor, either with the use of your chair or here. So we got to tuck the back toes under. And I'm going to use my wall and my chair a little bit for balance as I stand up, back into high crescent lunge, and we'll step forward into chair. All right, let's rise up out of chair into mountain. Roll the shoulders back. Notice what you're feeling in the upper body from that strength work. And then we'll go through the sequence, adding a different stretch. Sit into chair. Shift your body weight into your left foot. We'll pick up the right knee, single leg stance. Reach the leg back behind. And let's try to lower to the floor. I'm going to use my chair for a little bit of help. Down. So now we are going to stretch, instead of the front leg hamstring, we're going to stretch the back leg hip flexor. So I want to have that knee behind me a little bit. Got to find a comfortable spot on my knee. That's not going to work. Hang on, guys. That knee is being tender for me today. Okay, so here we are in our hip flexor stretch. Now, if like me, that knee is really tender, we can also tuck the back toe and we can lift the knee up off the floor and we can still get a nice stretch here through the hip flexor. So I'm using my chair for balance. I'm going to reach down with the right arm and pull the weight up. Now with my 5-pounders, this is pretty easy. So I'm going to actually double up my hand weights and pull up. Let's get 6 more. Back knee can be down or up. 5. If you don't want to do the weights, just work on your stretch. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Okay, I'm already off my back knee, but I need to figure out how to stand up. I'm going to actually bring that leg back in and get ready to stand up using the strength of this front leg. And push. I definitely have a ways to go to get that leg strong enough to do that of my own accord, but it's getting there. Okay, let's do the other side. And then we'll be done with this progression. Sink into our chair pose. Shift your body weight into your right foot. Pick up your left knee, single leg stance, working balance. Reach that leg way back. And then we are going to lower down, down, down to the floor. Good. And then we need to get into our hip flexor stretch. So I'm going to step this right foot forward more, get my left knee comfortable, and come up into that stretch. Now you can support here on your thigh too, if you'd like. And then let's see if we can do some of our arm rows. I'm going to grab both of the weights and pull up. Good. And pull up. What did we do on the other side? Was it 10 or was it 8? 3. Not sure. Let's do 10. 4. I really feel the work in my right quad right now. Exhale to pull it up. Slightly tightening your left glute will help you with that hip flexor stretch. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Okay, we need to stand up using this leg. So get yourself in a position where you have your back toes tucked under, and let's rise. Ooh, step in, shake everything out. That was challenging. I hope you found a progression that worked for you. You were able to modify as needed. Okay, let's take our weights away from us. Let's see, I'm going to set them away from my mat a bit. And then if you have a hand towel, I'd like you to grab that and then set that on your mat. This is where your head is going to be here as we do some cobra and some back strengthening. So I'm going to try to do this without my kneeling blanket. So we're standing behind that towel just a little bit. We'll take a breath in, sweep out and up, stretch. Exhale, come into forward bend, and you can use your chair for that forward bend, or you can bring the hands down to the mat, or clasp opposite elbows, or hands behind the thighs. Just give yourself a nice stretch here for the posterior chain. And then either using your chair or the mat, let's step back into downward facing dog. Chair is a nice option if you have any shoulder issues, wrist issues. And just hold that down dog, breathe. If hamstrings are really tight, let your knees bend. Really feel a nice stretch through your lats. Let's take 3 more breaths. And then our destination is to come down into a prone position. So I'm going to glide forward to come into a bit of a plank. I'm going to drop my knees down and lower down, knees, chest, chin, and then come into this prone position. So our hand towel is going to be right where our forehead is going to be here. So I'd like for you to grab the sides of the hand towel and just place your forehead on the towel, and we will lift everything up into a nice baby cobra. Now, the reason I have the hand towel here is that I want your forehead to stay on the towel. So in other words, it's not going to look like this where you're lifting your head up off the towel. It's going to stay on the towel and then come down and lift and lower. 2 more. Lift up into that spinal extension and down One more lift. And down. Let's turn our head to one side and relax the neck. So what I want you to do with your feet is I want you to forcefully push the tops of your feet down into the floor. This is going to help you fire your quads, tightening up the leg muscles. Let's turn our head to the other side for a couple breaths. Keep pushing the tops of the feet down into the mat. Engage the quads. Try to pull your kneecaps up a little bit. Now let's keep our head turned this way a little bit. And we are going to lift the elbow up and rotate. And then come down. Same side for 5. Lift. And down. 3. Keep activating your legs. 2. And 1. Go ahead, pick up your head, turn it the other direction, releasing the neck muscles. And then let's pick up that opposite elbow, rotate. 5. And 4. I'm really struggling with breathing, laying on my belly. If you're feeling that way, like me, I want you to try to breathe into the backside of your ribs. 2 more. And 1 more. Good. Now let's lift everything up in the middle, including the legs. 10, 9, 8. It's a bit of a modification for locust. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax back down. Let go of the hand towel. Slide the hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up and come into a nice child's pose. This is going to allow your lower back to stretch out the opposite way from that extension movement. Good. Okay, we'll be back on our hands and knees. So I'm going to bring my little bit of my padding back in here. And you have the option to use a hand weight. I'm going to show you this exercise without first. So we'll bring the right hand next to the ear with your elbow facing out. And we are going to rotate that elbow up and then bring it down almost to the floor. So you're twisting a little bit to look to the left and then reach up. So this is without the weight. With the weight, I'm going to hold the hand weight into my right hand, holding it kind of right at my shoulder. I'm going to lift up, and as I come down, I'll thread the weight through, not touching the floor. Pull it in, lift up. So it's a nice option for thread the needle. Let's get 3 more. Working the back muscles. I feel it in the bicep when I reach the weight through. And 2. And 1. Let's pull it up to finish. And then just come down to where your spine is neutral. Lift your left leg off the floor. Find your spinal balance. And if it feels okay with the weight, reach the right arm forward and hold for 10. You can set it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Okay, let's try the other side without the weights. We're going to bring that left hand toward the ear. We'll stretch up. And then we'll come down, bringing the elbow down toward the floor. And And you are absolutely fine if you stay with this, or we can try the weight. We'll pull up and then slide the hand under. Now notice when you slide the hand under, you're bending your right elbow here, so you're firing your right tricep. Push up. We have 3 more. And 2. And 1. Let's pull up to finish. And then come back to a neutral position. Send your right leg back. Find your spinal balance. Now you can stay here or try to reach that left arm forward. 10, 9, 8, 7. Breathing. 6, 5. Strong. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on in. Relax that hand weight. Come into your child's pose with your arms next to the sides of the body. This is our balasana. Take a couple deep breaths. All right, let's transition to a seated position. So I'm going to sit right on top of it to kind of pad the tailbone area. And we'll work on Navasana, our boat pose, to challenge the strength of our core. Your option, with or without hand weights. Bringing those optional weights to the chest. Lengthen through the spine. We'll exhale to tip back any amount. And then inhale to come back up. As you exhale, draw navel to spine, compress your low back muscles. So we're stabilizing through the lumbar spine. 2 more times. Now we'll add alternating rotation to the right. So we'll exhale, come back and turn to the right. Then inhale and come back to the middle. Exhale, turn to the left. Inhaling up. Now, the closer your weights are to your body, the less they're going to challenge your core. It's called short lever training. So if your weights are light, or maybe you don't even have weights at all, you can bring your arms out further from your body. And I already notice how much harder that is. Good. One more option. As you turn right, lift up the right leg. And then as we turn left, left leg comes up. Let's do 2 more on each side. You choose the level and the layering of this progression. 1 more each side. And come up, release the weights. Allow your knees to open out into our butterfly stretch. Your feet can be any distance away from the groin, and we'll stretch forward gently. Now, I did feel a fair amount of work in my shoulders with the weights doing that rotation. So let's give our shoulders some love. So sit up out of the stretch, reach your hands behind you. I just have my fingertips to the floor, and I'm going to pull my shoulder blades together and lift the heart center. Now let's make this into a flow. So we'll inhale here. And then as you exhale, reach the arms forward and stretch. Open, inhale, exhale, and reach. 3 more. And 2. One more. And then just come up to sit. We're going to bring the right knee to face up and tuck your left leg under it. So you can use your hand towel or a yoga strap, and I want you to put it under the bottom of your right foot, but then hold it in your left hand with both sides. And we are going to lean back a little bit and try to extend this leg completely out. So if you're using your hand towel and it's not long enough to get your leg completely straight, then go for your yoga strap here, because I'd like for you to be able to straighten your leg out a nice amount. Now let's hold the leg straight. With this left hand, bring it across the left side a little bit and reach the right arm behind you. So we have a twist. We have a chest stretch on that right arm. We have an IT band and a hamstring release on the right leg. And I don't know about you, but I'm working my left arm a fair amount just to hold that strap and hold my leg up. Good, let's come back to center. And then we'll release that leg, switching to the other side. The left knee is up, the right leg will tuck under a little bit. Bring that loop around to the left foot. Hold your strap or your hand towel with your right hand. Lean back a little bit. And then we'll straighten and bend. So just a little pro tip here. If your hamstrings are really tight, the more you lean back, the easier it is to get your leg straight, because you're not in as much of a forward fold. And the more you get to work your core. Let's do 2 more. The last one will hold. Reach it up, hold it. Sit tall so you're not slumping. Bring that leg across to the right. Twist your body to the left. And you're looking back behind you off to that left side as well. Now this hand can also come down to the floor and support. I want you to be comfortable in that left shoulder. 2 more deep breaths. And then come back to the center. We'll bend the knee and release the strap. We're going to be doing some bridging to fire the glutes and hamstrings. If you have a chair in front of you, it's a nice option to use. Make sure that it's stable on your yoga mat so that it won't slide out. Have your hand weights close by on either side of your mat. And then I also want you to have your hand towel next to you so you can grab that as well. If you don't have a chair, you're just going to roll back onto your back and keep your feet on the mat for bridge. If you have a chair, your feet are going to go up to the top of the chair for your bridge pose. And we'll start without the use of the weights. That way you can feel comfortable staying without weights. And then we'll tuck the tailbone under, lift up into a bridge. Notice what you're feeling in the posterior chain, and then roll yourself back down one bone at a time. Then shift back to a neutral spine. So you'll feel your pelvis rock forward a little bit as you come to neutral. Tuck under, lift, roll down, and tilt the pelvis to neutral. Now it's interesting. I think this is because of my arthritic knee. When I come up into my bridge, I can tell I'm utilizing my left leg a lot more than my right. I think it's this self-protective mechanism. So as we do a few more of these reps, I want you to notice if you feel like you're working equally on both sides or if you're favoring one over the other. And just notice. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Tuck, lift, activate, roll down, and return that pelvis to neutral. Let's take the right leg up for just a couple of breaths just to lengthen the muscle. And we'll do the same on the left. Sometimes when we do bridging, the hamstrings want to cramp up on us a little bit. So if you feel that starting, try not to work out through it. I want you to stop and stretch. Okay, let's take our hand weights as an option and bring them straight up above the chest. We'll tuck and lift into a baby bridge. So I don't want you to come up too high, just a baby one. We'll bring the right arm down to where your elbow almost touches the floor. And then as the right arm goes back up, the left one moves down simultaneously. So they're passing each other somewhere in the middle. Try to keep your pelvis level across so you're not twisting from side to side. Maybe you can lift your hips up a little higher. Let's do 4 more on each arm. Three, nice isometric bridging. 2, and 1. And then lower both arms and the hips down. Release the weights. Take the right leg up, stretch the hamstring, point flex, point flex. And then switch. Left leg extends, point flex. And then relax your feet either to the chair or to the floor. And grab your hand towel. We're going to bring it behind the back of the head and hold on to it so that when you come up into a crunch, you can relax your head into the hand towel. You're not using your neck muscles to lift up. This also gives me a nice little chest stretch right here with my elbows in this position. So what we don't want to do is bring the elbows forward. We want to keep them out to the side. And we'll lift the shoulder blades up off the mat and back down. And lift and lower. Just 3 more. We're going to go in sets of 5. Consciously relax the neck. And 1 more. Good. Now let's take the right ankle, cross it over the left thigh so you are in a figure 4 position. Left foot is either still on the chair or it's on the floor. We're going to keep the right elbow anchored as we lift the left shoulder blade off the floor. So we're rotating the body over to that right side. 5 reps. Relax your head. One more. Take the bottom leg straight up, flex your ankle, and use the bottom leg to push your right leg toward you a little more. So you're feeling this stretch in the glute. And we have 5 reps coming up, both shoulder blades. 5. Pull your left toes down into dorsiflexion. Also dorsiflect on the right ankle. One more. And relax. Set your left foot back to the chair or floor. Uncross. Good. And then let's take the left ankle, cross it over the right thigh. So we're in our figure 4. Dorsiflect both ankles. Keep your left elbow onto the mat as we rotate right shoulder blade lifts. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Extend the right leg straight up. Dorsiflect the ankle. With that right leg, push the left leg toward you a little bit more. Feel that nice stretch. We've got 5 reps straight up. Exhale. 4. 3. 2. 1. Relax. Come back down with the feet, uncross. Now your last option is to keep your feet on the chair or on the floor for 5 more crunches, or to extend both legs straight up the wall, dorsiflex both ankles, and crunch from here, lifting. 5. Exhale, 4. Draw navel to spine, 3. Relax the neck, 2. And last one. And then set the feet back down. Excellent. So I'd like for you to find a position for just a couple minutes of relaxation. If you like the legs up, you can do legs up the wall. You can have your legs on the chair. You can open your knees out. I kind of like this one, even with my feet up on the chair, to do Supta Baddha Konasana. Or you can press the chair away from you and lengthen out your legs, traditional Shavasana on the mat. And just bring your awareness to your breathing. Close your eyes, come inside. Just being aware of the energetic effects of your practice today, both in your physical energy as well as in the energy of your mind, your emotions, your entire well-being. And try to relax a little deeper here, slowing the breath. And I'd like for you to choose with me this mantra today. I am strong. You know, that word strong or strength can have many meanings to us, depending on what we're focusing on. So, what does that mean for you today? I am strong. And in our thoughts, we'll say the words I am as we breathe in, and the word strong as we breathe out. Now, if there are areas of your life where you'd like to see yourself be stronger, but you're not at the moment, I'd like you to recite the words, I am getting stronger. It's a journey, it's a path we're following. If you need more time here in meditation with your